How to Make Your Mind a Money Magnet: The Secret of Never-Ending Cash Flow by Dr. Robert Anthony. This is a 100% free report. Please share it with everyone you know. Introduction. The natural abundance of the universe. Since the beginning of time, philosophers, visionaries, and great spiritual leaders have talked about the natural abundance of the universe. The difference between being aware of our natural abundance and owning a hefty portion of it is one of the main lessons we come to this earth to learn. We live in a three-dimensional world that reflects back to us the energy, words, feelings, and thoughts we put out. Unfortunately, when we come to this planet, we're not well versed in how to manifest our desires, so it takes us time to learn it. But that in itself is a great blessing. Imagine a world where everything you thought, felt, or said suddenly and immediately appeared in front of you. Sure, you could materialize $1 million on the kitchen table in 30 seconds flat, but each time you had a thought of fear or worry about anything, you would also have the monster standing up against the refrigerator, trying to eat your lunch. We come into this three-dimensional world with a special blessing of protection that allows us to have thoughts and feelings that don't instantly materialize in front of our eyes, as they do in the non-physical dimension. So the fact that you can't materialize money by just thinking about it may seem to be a hindrance, but it's also part of a greater protection that allows you to learn the art of manifestation without getting hurt in the process. Chapter 1. Rich is your natural state. Our natural state is to be rich. The things that get in our way of becoming rich are feelings of unworthiness, lack, despair, and confusion, and the inability to master the marketplace of life. This aspect is extremely important, so I will discuss it in detail in a few minutes. The secret behind all this is something you may already know, namely, that life is energy, money is energy, and there are plenty of both. Perhaps it sounds a bit silly, but you ought to begin every day by telling yourself that there is no shortage of money. In fact, there are untold trillions of dollars, yen, pounds, euros, and so on, swishing about in cyberspace, more than you could ever spend. We have been programmed by the system to believe that there are shortages and lack, and that financial uncertainty is normal. It is not. That idea is a psychological mechanism designed by those who have a vested interest in controlling people and keeping them in line by making them fearful. Don't buy it. Most people, suffering from a limited mindset, have no comprehension of just how much money there's actually available to anyone with the will to step up and call it. However, because we are taught to fear power, it is naturally assumed that the very rich could only become that way by being dishonest and crooked, and that they feed upon little people. While the economic forces of our planet are certainly stacked in favor of the big institutions and governments, there's nothing stopping each one of us from having our fair share. Chapter 2. Money and greed are not the same thing, yet it is very difficult to attract money if you have any negative thoughts about it. But once you come to an understanding that money is neutral, that wealth is natural and even spiritual, it's easy to see that when you have money, it does not deprive somebody else. In fact, if you are wealthy, more often than not, you will be disposing of your money commercially, buying products and services, and charitably supporting people around you. In doing that, you are actually adding to the overall flow of wealth to everyone on the planet. There are trillions of dollars zipping about electronically on any given day. Those electronic signals are literally passing through your body right now, as are all the TV and radio signals that are in your local area. Here's something you can do right now. Take a moment and think about the billions of dollars electronically flowing through your hands at the moment. Now imagine making a slight flick of your wrist in order to haul some of the loot that's in transit so it sticks in the palm of your hand. Can you actually do this? Yes, because a flick of the mind is faster than a flick of the wrist. We are going to talk about how you can do this in a few minutes. It is important to understand that money is good. Greed is not good. However, there is no reason why you can't be very rich, stinking rich, in fact, and still be an extremely spiritual and wonderfully generous person aligned to source energy, with a huge heart and compassion for everyone you meet. Chapter 3. Why some people are rich and others aren't. One of the inner concepts we have to grasp is the basic principle behind quantum physics, that everything exists as a wave-particle duality. This is the key factor in understanding why some people are rich and others aren't. What the wave-particle duality means at a quantum level is that what we see and perceive as a solid reality is not actually solid at all. Everything, and I do mean everything, exists in an oscillation or ill-defined wave of energy. This ill-defined wave of energy remains the same unformed energy until a particle is observed, whereupon it changes from being somewhere in an ill-defined wave state to being solid and existing in a definable place. Money, and our ideas around money and abundance, follows the laws of quantum physics. In order for money to become part of your life, it has to go from an unformed, ill-defined wave state of ideas, dreaming, wishing, yearning, and vague maves, into a solid state, a dollar bill, credit in your bank account, a coin in your pocket. If you can convince yourself at the very deepest level of your being that there is no lack, no unfairness, and no discrimination, and that making money isn't difficult, you suddenly open yourself to greater wealth. This is because you've collapsed your self-denial, your aversions and resentments, and you flip from the insecure ill-defined wave state that asks, where's the rent coming from? To the solid particle state of creating more money in your life. Suddenly you know where it's coming from because the check is in your hand. Chapter 4, Collapsing Your Money Dysfunction and Collapsing Your Ill-Defined Wave Money Dysfunction. You open yourself to endless points of creating more wealth. This simple flick of the mind that we talked about earlier opens the door. Remember, all points of abundance, points in our limited three-dimensional reality where money is actually delivered, where transactions take place, are solid particle states, not ill-defined waves. So, to make the manifestation process work for us, we have to put aside all our ill-defined wave ideas about money. We have to become centered and aligned to the solid symbols of abundance. In short, we have to know we can create all the money we want and then follow through until we get the results we desire. The universe at large is chock full of everything you're ever going to need. So when thinking about money, instead of saying there is not enough money, start saying, there is a way to create more money in my life and I am finding it now because I am looking for it and because my mind is a money magnet. In addition to affirming you are a money magnet, take a little time each day to stop and concentrate on things you consider to be manifestations of abundance. Also, go to places where wealthy people hang out, look at the symbols of their wealth, and affirm that the abundance they are experiencing is good. Yes, money can be used for evil purposes, but money in itself is neutral and has no energy. 9 Chapter 5, Learn to agree with abundance. In order to make your feelings right, you've got to agree that abundance and wealth is natural. You can't look at abundance and wealth with anger or envy when you see others earning and enjoying it, and you can't become abundant or wealthy if you exclude yourself. So when you see a person in a limousine who is wearing fine clothes, if you say, consciously or subconsciously, what a show-off! That lifestyle is not for me. You deny your potential or create wealth. Remember, you create more of whatever you focus on. Whatever you are experiencing in your life right now is what you have been focusing on either consciously or unconsciously, no exceptions. I will admit it isn't easy for most ordinary people to look at extreme manifestations of wealth and really believe they can have the same manifestations in their life. Their ego is too racked with jealousy or inadequacy and judgment. We'll look at a multi-million-dollar house and say, that's not my kind of house. We see expensive things and say, that's far too much or too expensive for me. But, in order to experience true abundance, you must be able to identify with wealth. You have to be able to join in with your feelings. What I am saying here is that it's not vital to your financial success that you can instantly visualize yourself in the presidential suite of a 5-star hotel providing you don't deny yourself the possibility. In other words, you may say, I don't have to stay at the Four Seasons Hotel, but it's certainly something I could do if I really wanted to. It's certainly something that I am pleased exists. Moreover, I'm thrilled for the people checking into the presidential suite right now. 10 In this way, you switch from the negative affirmation that money is bad or that you are a victim of poverty, to the idea that money is neutral and abundance is natural. So, acknowledging abundance as a daily affirmation should be a part of your disciplined action plan. Chapter 6, Money is a symbol. Money is just a symbol that assists in interaction with others, and it allows us to learn and experience honor, integrity, fairness and compassion. It's one way you endorse and love yourself. Using money to nurture yourself is a manifestation of your acceptance of yourself and your endorsement of self. Can you really love the world if you don't include and love yourself? The answer is no. Money is with you on this spiritual journey. It's a part of the self-realization seminar you signed up for in this lifetime. Yet, most people are victimized by this idea because they fall for the ego trap of thinking that their self-worth is linked to wealth and their bank balance. Please, never forget, you are eternal and worth plenty, even if you are dead broke at the moment. And the money seminar you signed up for when you came to this planet is just that, a seminar. Like any seminar, it has many useful lessons. From money we learn honesty and generosity. We also learn the proper use of power, and sometimes we stuff it up, wielding our money darkly, manipulating and terrorizing people, or using our wealth to gain an unfair advantage over others. Sometimes money shows us how covert or dishonest we are, or worse, it shows us how to be mean and nasty. But it's all part of learning about ourselves. Money is a mirror. It tells us about ourselves if we choose to look in the mirror. And from this wonderful symbol, money, we learn trust, faith and hope. We learn to believe in ourselves. We are forced to be creative, look the world in the eye, and offer our energy, product, service, job or career, in exchange. And we are asked to do that honestly and correctly, with kindness for all. Money forces us to be grateful and to remember God as our source energy. Money shows us many things. It's a friend, harsh and blunt sometimes, but a true friend, nonetheless. We have to believe in money, as we have to believe 12 in our friends, no matter what their weaknesses and faults. So expect the best from your money seminar, and expect your friend to show up right away. Chapter 7. How to create your own wealth. It's vital to understand and to remember that you are responsible for creating your own wealth. In order to do that, you must also understand how to take these ill-defined wavelength particles of abundance and turn them into cash flow. What do I mean by cash flow? I mean actual dollars in your wallet and bank account. Everybody wants cash flow. There is nothing wrong with that, but the question is, how can we get more cash to flow to us? Well, enough theory. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of how you can get unlimited amounts of cash to flow into your wallet and into your bank account. We are talking about how we can get cash to flow into our lives. The secret of cash flow has been hidden basically since the beginning of mankind, because right in the center of the problem is the solution. What do I mean by that? Cash will always flow to individuals in business who solve problems. People will always pursue a business or an individual who is able to solve their most immediate problems. Doesn't that make sense? Think about it. If you were sick, would you go to see an electrician? No, would go to the doctor. Correct? And if you are having some legal issue, you wouldn't go to the doctor, you would go to an attorney. What if you need a mortgage? You would go to see a mortgage broker or a banker. You wouldn't go to Pizza Hut to get a mortgage. The key to being pursued and chased and being the most sought-after person in your business, in your marketplace and in the company you work 14 for, and having people throw money at you, is to have the ability to identify a pressing problem that people have, and then you become the solution. It is that simple. 15 Chapter 8, What problem can you solve? It is a fact of life. People have problems and they want solutions. So what kind of problems do the people at your company have? If you run a company, what kind of problem does your market have, and what kind of solution do you offer that will cause clients and customers to pursue you? You have to ask the question, why would people pursue me? Why should people give you their money? I can tell you this, it is not because you have something to sell that doesn't make a difference. People have stuff to sell all day long, so you can forget about that. Just because you have something to sell, even if it is a great product or service, it doesn't mean people want to buy it. If you do have something to sell and your family and friends are buying it, it doesn't mean you can become wealthy selling it. More than likely the only reason they are buying it is because they are your friend or because they love you. But let's get real. People don't buy things just because somebody has something to sell. People buy things to solve some sort of a problem they have, whether it is a serious problem or it's fun problem. It could be one of entertainment or finances or something else. But the bottom line is this: you need to be able to satisfy a problem in the marketplace or in the company that you work for in such a unique way that your employer is willing to give you a raise or your customers are willing to buy from you because you have helped solve an immediate and pressing problem. As yourself, what solution can I offer to people who have a specific desire, a specific craving or a specific yearning? Whatever solution you offer, people have to crave it. People have to have an appetite for it. 16. Let's get really specific here. You need a starving crowd. However, you not only need a starving crowd, but one that has an appetite and craving for what you specifically offer. It's very simple. You can have a hungry crowd of people that is starving, and I mean that literally. They want something to eat. You're thinking you're going to make a killing selling the biggest, juiciest prime rib, that is so tender, you can cut it with a fork. It is the best steak and prime rib this hungry crowd has ever eaten. However, there is only one problem. You find out that these people you are trying to sell your prime rib to are die-hard vegetarians with carrot juice pumping through their veins. You've got a big problem. You've got your hungry crowd, but they don't eat meat. Now, if you had a truckload of celery sticks, lettuce and tofu, you could feed this starving crowd and solve their immediate problems. You've got your starving crowd and it's what you want. But you were not specific enough. You got meat and they want vegetables. So the lesson here is you need to solve very specific problems for very specific people. That's it. If you work for a company, identify the problems that have gone unsolved, very specific problems, and find a way to solve them. That's going to immediately raise your level of contribution and your worth to your company. That helps you accelerate through the ranks of your company to get raises and become overqualified for your current position. Keep in mind, the only reason you are in your current position and making the amount of money you are now is because you have not made yourself overqualified for the position by solving your company's immediate problems. You may resist this idea, but it is the truth. You are getting paid what you are worth to your company, whether you agree with it or not. 17. If you run a business, you need to know and identify the specific problems in your marketplace. You must be very specific. You want to look at that problem and you want to give them the solution. 18. Chapter 9, the key to lasting wealth. Here is something else you must consider very carefully. You want to identify the problem and you want to give them the solution, but more importantly, the key to massive wealth is that you need to make your solution, or the answer to their problem, greater than your promise. If you over-deliver on your promise, you will almost immediately find yourself in the top 1% of income earners in your marketplace. All you need to do is to make your solutions greater than your promises. Many companies out there advertise all these great things about their product or service. People put all these great superlatives on their resumes. Then they get hired, or somebody who retains their services or buys their products and it underperforms or they underperform. The person who purchased the product or service feels let down or even worse, cheated. Why? Because they didn't make the solution bigger than the promise. Even if you sell yourself like crazy, your goal must always be sure that all those big promises you are making about your product, your service or yourself is still nothing compared to the results of what you can deliver. Do you know what happens when you do that? People don't just come to you once to get their problem solved, they will come to you again and again and again. And if you run any kind of company, I am sure you know it is really important for people to come to you again and again, because having people buy from you just once will put money in your pocket, but it will not create wealth. Let me repeat that. You create wealth by having people come back again and again over and over with such a high level of overwhelming satisfaction that they are just bursting at the seams wanting to give you more money for new problems that they have. This also applies to their ongoing problems that they feel you have the most satisfying solution, whether it is a temporary one or a 19 permanent one. On top of that, they will start to send other people to you to solve their problems. That's the secret to permanent and lasting wealth. Define problems and offer solutions. Chapter 10, a third-party solution is still a solution. You don't necessarily have to present solutions of your own. You can also present solutions as a third party for somebody else. In other words, You can be a go-between who the brokers the deal rather than solving the problem yourself. However, here is something else very important. If you solve small problems you will make small money. If you solve big problems you are going to make big money. One of the biggest problems you can solve is financial freedom for somebody. That's why books, seminars, audio and video, everything that associates with making money has a higher price tag than most other products. A book on how to get weeds out of the garden or how to make fluffy muffins solves a person's problem, but it is not going to command the same price as how to make money because the solution, the end result of making money, is more valuable to the user or client. Let me give you an example of the wrong and right way to go about this. A friend of mine wanted to have her own website and sell her own product. She had a great product. Her experience is in the beauty industry, so she created an ebook on 101 beauty secrets, including all the inside secrets on cosmetic surgery procedures, how to find the right doctor and everything else you would want to know about cosmetic surgery. It was over 150 pages and packed with information. She created a beautiful website that had everything you could ask for. A great product, a great sales presentation, several bonuses, and a very reasonable price. However, the website was never successful. Why? She did everything right. She did exactly what the online marketers told her to do in 21 their Get Rich on the Internet courses. So why did the website fail? Because she decided what she wanted to sell to the public and they were not interested. In other words, she was not solving a problem that people were seeking a solution for. Let me give you another example of the right way to do this. I know of a man who is making a fortune on the internet selling information products. He has several successful websites. But here is the interesting thing. Every product is different, and yet, he knows absolutely nothing about any of the products he sells. However, his success comes from applying the principles you are learning here. Every website solves a problem that people are seeking an answer to. Here is his secret. Before deciding on what he wanted to sell and creating a website, he went online and found out what people were searching for. In other words, what problems were they trying to solve? If you think about it, the main reason people use search engines is because they are looking for a solution to a problem. All he did was find out what problems people wanted solved. His very first website was on how to train your parrot to talk. There were a lot of searches on that, but very little information. Next he found someone who was an expert on training a parrot to talk. He interviewed them and taped the conversation. Next, he had someone transcribe the information and write the e-book for him. In fact, he has never written one of his information products. He says his job is to find problems to solve. This is where he puts his energy. After he finds and researches the solution, he hires someone who has writing skills but does not have any writing assignments. Someone who would like to make some extra money. Then for about $300 he has them write a complete book for him, even if it is only 50-100 pages. People don't care how long the book is if it solves their problem. He has literally created a cash machine using this simple formula. 20. Did you see the difference? One person decided on what she thought people wanted or would be interested in, but the other found out exactly what people wanted. In particular, what problem they wanted solved. Then if there was only a little or no information available on how to solve that problem, he would create a solution. Cash flows to you not because you have a great product, not because someone tells you that this is a ground floor opportunity, not because the company says this industry is booming, and not because you are excited or in love with your product or service, but because it solves a real problem that is causing people pain that they want relieved, or pleasure that want to gain. Here is something else that is great about this. If you are into sales or marketing, one of the first things you learn is to answer the question, what's in it for them? Guess what? The answer of what's in it for them is already answered. So a certain amount of resistance to your offer is already taken care of. You're coming to them from the position of having a solution to an existing problem that they would like to resolve so they can experience whatever relief it is going to bring to them. Is it going to bring them pleasure, take them closer to where they want to be, or move them away from pain further away from where they don't want to be? These are the only two reasons anyone buys anything. This isn't about sales or marketing or anything like that. I am just explaining the reality of how cash flows. Cash flows to those who are able to solve people's pressing problems. Did you get that? Write it down now. Paste it up on the wall and look at it because it is your key to unlimited wealth. There are a lot of other ways to go about creating wealth, but this is the best way for the average person with little or no skills to create wealth. It is also the only one that is guaranteed to succeed. 23. It's worth repeating once again that cash flows to those who solve people problems. You see, if you are broke or not making enough money, there are only two reasons. 1. You are not solving enough problems for people, or 2. The problems you are solving are too small. So don't just ask the universe for more money, ask for ways to solve more and bigger problems for others. And then the money automatically flows. If you do this, guess what? Your pockets are going to start bulging with money. They are going to burst at the seams and wealth will be yours. People who solve problems are money magnets. They can't stop it from coming. They couldn't stop it if they wanted to. They will die and the money will still be going in their direction. Because the legacy that they built was built around the problem-solving model, so the money just continues to flow their way. So remember, money flows to those who solve problems for other people. Chapter 11, Inventory Time. I want you to do an inventory of yourself or your company. I want you to identify what problems you are solving for people. Not problems you think you are solving, but what problems are you really solving for people? You need to be honest or this exercise is a waste of time. Identify the problems you are solving for other people. Now look at how much money you are making, whether you have a business or you work for somebody else, and ask yourself this question. Am I solving problems for those people? If you work for someone else, ask yourself, can I easily be replaced? If you can easily be replaced, then you have very little value to your company as a problem solver. However, if you will look for and solve problems for the company you work for, then you will put yourself in a position where you either cannot easily be replaced, or you are overqualified. In that case, your employer will celebrate you with raises, promotions and recognition. So take a look at your income. Are the problems you are solving small? Then more than likely you have small income or revenue. The size of the problems you solve will impact the amount of wealth that you can build. You need to understand supply and demand. Where there is a huge demand and a small supply, the price of the supply goes up. What I am asking you to do is to start looking for a problem that needs a solution. Even if there is a ton of solutions already, maybe there's no one satisfactory solution. What if you used a little creativity and came up with a killer solution? I mean a solution that really works. The demand can go up because you are the only one with a solution, or maybe there is just a handful of others that has a matching solution. The supply becomes very limited so you are able to raise the price and make more money. 25. You need to identify this. If you do a little investigative work, and I'm talking about very little work here, you will find a whole lot of problems people need to have solved. You don't have to go online to do this. You can find them right where you work and live. Listen to what I am saying. When people have a headache, what do? They are buying a solution to the problem they have, which is a throbbing pain. What do they reach for? A product that will solve their headache problem. They see the pill in the bottle as the solution. Sometimes people purchase products or services, not because they have an existing problem, but they don't want to have one. Why do people get alarm systems? They don't want a theft problem. Why do people put a firewall on their computer? To prevent hackers. It goes back to discovering what people are having problems with and what solutions they are looking for. Conclusion: be a money magnet now. When you solve people's problems in your company or in your business, that's how you create wealth. That's how you get cash to flow to you. When you focus on solving problems, you become a money magnet. It is really simple. And it is also something that all these law of attraction, prosperity and abundance courses never tell you. After you create a prosperity consciousness, you have to turn that consciousness into dollars by offering solutions to people's pressing problems. That's how you turn ideas or a prosperity consciousness into actual wealth. And anyone can do it. Find out where people are experiencing pain. Find out what they really need. Be a healer. Be a solution provider. And guess what? The money is going to flow to you. Trust me. That's how it works. So the number one reason why people will pay you cash right now, with a smile, willingly begging you to take their money, is because you can solve their most immediate problem, which is the pain they are experiencing right now that they want relieved, or the pleasure they want to move closer to as fast as possible. That is how cash flows. And you don't need a lot of money to do this. You don't need a big capital investment to solve people's problems. In fact, in many cases you could do it with no capital investment. The world is full of problems and people are begging for solutions. That's the way to get people to give you money. So here is the secret. Listen carefully. Don't beg, plead, or ask God or the universe for money. Ask for problems to solve, because that's the easiest way to ensure a constant cash flow into your life now and forever. Tell the universe at large that you are ready to solve people's pressing problems. Then ask that they be revealed to you. 27. What problems can you help others to solve? Then ask for a way to communicate the solution. Do it yourself or find a company or an individual that you can partner with. Perhaps they can reach these people with your solution. As you train your mind to do this, you become a money magnet. More and more ideas, problems, come to you, and then you find the one or two problems that just feel right. You know that you can find solutions for these problems. Finally, you can use all the tools you have learned about creating abundance from my books and programs, and in others as well, but if you use them in this problem-solving context, you will become a money magnet. More importantly, there is no way you can fail at creating cash flow and abundance in your life if you focus on solving people's problems. You will not only make a great living, have more money than ever before, but you could become extremely wealthy in the process. Please listen to this program a few times until you really get it. Use what you have learned so far about the law of attraction and focus how you can be a problem solver. If you will do this, I guarantee you will become a powerful money magnet, and your days of not having enough money will be gone forever. Nice outcome, wouldn't you say? Resources: Dr. Robert Anthony, The Secret of Deliberate Creation, CD set from the acknowledged inspiration behind The Secret. The Law of Attraction Key. Click here to get this great report free and make The Secret of Deliberate Creation work for you. James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. Click here to read this classic for free. Eric Howard, Power Mind Secret. Unleash your power mind in 5 easy steps. Free resource. Mark Allen, The Perfect Life, shows you step by step how to realize your dreams. The New Message of a Master, The Secret Laws. Click here for a free secret review of the 16 laws never before revealed in this timeless classic. Mark Fisher, The Instant Millionaire, A Tale of Wisdom and Wealth, an original fable loaded with specific financial advice. The Center for Professional Well-Being Wisdom Community.